Hello, everyone, and welcome back with us here at Unfiltered Podcast. Today, we have another special episode because we have a guest. Mr. Justin Mashinki will be joining us here today, and my good friend Ben. And our area of conversation today will be the foster care system in America. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Justin and Ben, for coming in.
Yes, thank you all. Thanks, everyone, for joining us once again on the Unfiltered podcast. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for
Very
having me.
excited
Here.
to have you today.
Welcome, boss.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we have a tradition here on Unfiltered where we ask a fire round of questions. We just have a couple for you today. So nothing to get nervous about, but the rules are very strict. We ask you a yes or no question. You're required to answer with a simple yes or no initially, and then we'll dive deeper into these topics. So I'm going to let Mr. Platini kick off the fire.
I'll fire right away with the first question. Did growing up in the foster system shape who you are today?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful. Would you say there is a stigma around folks, kids, or adults now who went through that foster care system?
Yes.
All right.
Boom. Look at that. He's a pro.
Thank you so much. All right. My first question for you on this episode was, if growing up in the foster system shaped who you are today, and you answered with a yes. Why is that? Do you want to elaborate more?
Yeah, because growing up in the foster care, I mean, you face a lot of traumas. Traumas that young adults or kids don't face when they're growing up in a two-parent household. You learn to be more independent. You learn to face barriers, essentially. Sometimes those might break a child down. And a child that, let's say, as you get older, you become more mature.
Okay.
And as a child, you're not able to fully articulate some of the situations you're placed in, So growing up in foster care, I would react in a certain manner due to my traumas. But now, as I've gotten older, it's really shaped my way of thinking in a more positive way, essentially.
So basically, growing up in the foster system forces you to be an adult at a very early age.
Correct.
Looking out for yourself at a very tender age, and basically having no one to depend on.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And how young were you when you were put through that system?
Yeah. So I entered the foster care system when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
I remember that moment vividly, as if you asked any foster youth, I'm sure they could tell you the exact picture of what took place. For myself, at 8 years old, I was at my grandparents' house, and I was with my sister, and we were with some neighborhood friends. No parents were around at that time. We got a knock on the door. The police knocked on the door, and I answered. And they asked if there was an adult home. Said no, And then my sister, her being older, she came, and they asked to come in. We let them in. My friends scattered out the back door. And
they didn't know what the cops were coming in for.
No clue, And then they said, you're going to be gone for the weekend. Pack your bags. You're going to be gone for the weekend. So me and my sister packed our bags. And it's been a very long weekend, per se, because I never went back.
Never went back home from that moment.
Correct.
So this was just the police?
Yeah.
Like the local police just showed up at the door and said, you're coming with us?
Correct. And I mean, of course, they had their reasonings that I found out later. There has to be a reason as to why the police are coming to your door and taking your children.
Of course.
So there was a report made, and that's essentially what led them to our door to get us.
So you were 8 years old. How old was your sister at that time?
My sister, she's 30. I'm 26 currently.
So she was 10 then?
About 12 years old.
10, 12. Oh, yeah, 12. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's early.
And y'all were living at your grandmother's house at that time?
Yes. Part-time, I believe.
Okay.
We stayed in the country for a little bit there, so that was kind of fun in itself. And
Out in the country, huh?
Yeah, Lester Prairie, Hutchinson, Glencoe.
Oh, okay.
Moved around plenty.
Oh, yeah.
That's like Wisconsin. Is that Wisconsin?
Nope, that's up north.
Oh, Hutchinson. Yeah,
About an
I was thinking
hour
of Hudson.
and a half or so away
Okay.
from the cities.
So when the cops came in and took you guys, did they separate you guys or you went to the same house?
They separated us. Yeah.
Oh.
So my sister went to an all-girls facility, essentially. And then myself, I got placed in a single-parent white woman with 2 kids household across the river from her.
Interesting. Was there a reason for that, for separating siblings?
No, I
That
think
must have
at
been
that
hard.
time, that's just what the foster care system does. They need to find placement. If there's not a two-bed placement, then, I mean, the kids get separated, essentially. Now, I believe there's rules in place that keeps siblings together.
Okay.
Because I know that was a big factor. I mean, if you have 3 siblings and then y'all all go separate ways,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
traumatic in itself.
Yeah,
No, that's a lot.
It's
Especially
heavy.
at the age that you were.
Right.
Yeah. So
to be separated.
did you guys keep in touch though, even though you were in different houses?
Yeah, vaguely. And it messes me up because although we were across the river from one another,
Yeah.
my mom made her way to visit my sister during that time, but not me. So I
Really?
found that messed up. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I'm sorry about that, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
So were you in that home for some time, or did you get moved around a lot? What was the experience? I mean, did it feel like you were in one place, or were you constantly kind of getting pushed around, or not pushed around, but I mean shifted to different situations?
Yeah, no. So I was only there temporarily, and then my great aunt, I guess she had a dream, and in her dream there were 2 suitcases, and she had no idea what that meant at the time. But then in the foster care system, I guess what they do is they send out notifications, or they reach out to immediate family, essentially, to see if
If they can get you guys back out of the system.
Correct. Yeah. So my great aunt, she took us in eventually. I can't recall how long I was at the first placement, but she ended up taking us in, and then we both stayed with her for a brief time. But I had many, many more placements after that, essentially. So
until what age were you in that system?
well,
Through your teens?
yeah, I
and
mean, so essentially I went through extended foster. So let's break this down. I entered at 8 years old, and then I went through extended foster care, where in an extended foster care, you age out at 21. So at 18, up until 18, I'm placed in foster homes or whatever the state places me in, to keep me in housing. And then from 18 to 21, which is extended foster care, they don't tell every foster youth this, like, oh, we have extended foster care. Would you like to stay in? So it's a voluntary thing. But those stipends that foster parents get for their children, for the foster youth, is then given directly to the foster youth in the extended foster care system.
Oh, interesting.
So each month, you would get a stipend, and that would help with transportation, food, housing. If you have children, then the price would increase. Obviously. So there were stipulations in place that you had to be working a job, or you had to be going to school. They wouldn't just give you the money. You had to essentially, abide by their guidelines to earn the stipend.
So it was essentially up until you were 21?
Correct, 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, I mean, within that, you asked about placements. So I'd say I've experienced that first placement, directly out of my immediate family's home, and then went to my great aunt's, and then I experienced getting dropped off at it's called the Bridge. I believe it's still up and running, South Minneapolis. The Bridge, homelessness, St. Joseph's. I lived in the suburbs. with a wealthy family. So I've experienced a spectrum of different placements, essentially.
Yeah, from 8 years old all the way to 21.
You've basically seen all the different sides of parenting in America.
That's a wide scope, but
Yeah.
I've definitely had my fair share of parenting.
Okay.
Sure. And you mentioned when you were 8, that's when you were first taken from your family's home, and that there was later a report filed about that. If you're comfortable to speak on it, what led to that determination eventually that the police to come and take you from your grandmother's home?
Now, I'm not going to dive into that on this podcast. However,
Sure.
It's okay.
There can be multiple reasons as to why children are taken away.
Yeah.
Abuse, sexual assault, exploitation of children, neglect,
Sure.
Things of that nature. So
it's a lot. It's a wide scope of it. Of different
yeah,
things.
something that kids shouldn't have to go through. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's it for me with the first question. So Ben, I know you're asking me one fire round question.
Yeah. So we did touch on, kind of how frequently you were in and out of homes. What led to you? I just want to follow up because you mentioned, you went through a period of even homelessness.
Yeah.
What led to that, and what was that experience like?
That was some dark days, man. At 14 years old, I experienced homelessness. So, freshman year, I experienced my first taste of homelessness, and this was during the winter season.
Oh wow.
So slushy, rainy, wet,
Cold.
snow,
Yeah.
cold, nowhere to go at times. Sleeping right by the Mall of America, using my backpack as a pillow, essentially. Eating at the IHOP just to get some warmth and staying there because it was open 24/7.
Oh wow. And you were still trying to go to school at that time?
Yeah.
Your freshman year of high school.
Yeah, correct. So I went to 8 different high schools.
Okay.
Take that into scope of a 4-year high school career. I went to 8 different high schools.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So that is, but during that homelessness at 14 years old, that's where I first encountered suicidal ideations. And I think this was a spiral in my life, a change in my life, believe it or not. I'm not going to sit here and incriminate myself on what I was doing to make a living or to provide for myself at that age. But there was one night where I was, again, by the Mall of America. It was raining that night, very cold, had nowhere to go. People that I was calling on my phone, they weren't answering. I could see my reflection in the glass. And then I was on the 3rd story of this parking garage. And I was just at a very dark point. And the suicidal ideation in my head was to just go over the ledge head first and, just end it there. But I think at that time I had a calling, and now I might not know my biological father, and I may not have my biological mother in my life, but there's a name that I'm thinking of that has never left me, a father that has never left me, that during that hard time, I was given a light essentially in this dark room, right? So at the brink of suicide, I seen this pea-sized light, and I started chipping away at it. And then over time, I continued to chip away at it, and now the room has filled, and it's a lot brighter. No longer in that exactly. No longer in that darkness.
Wow. Wow. So you were able to overcome that moment, obviously, and come very far. Very long way from there. Looking back to that moment and to how far you've come, what were some of the inspirations for you, or some of the people even in your life who kind of helped get you through that?
Honestly, it was myself, my spiritual father and myself.
Yeah.
That really got me through that. Because a lot of young folks that endure these traumas and these pains, it can break a person, you know.
I know.
It could break an adult, you know. So it takes a deeper mental strength to be able to get through that. That nobody can coach you or can necessarily give you.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be within you.
Okay.
Now, I had very little support. You know, that's why I was homeless. When I had to go, needed somewhere to stay. I didn't have anywhere to stay. So, I mean, it was between myself and the man above, you know?
Yeah. We can't even begin to understand what you've been through. So this question, if you don't feel comfortable answering it, is fine. What was the situation that led you to become homeless at 14, even though you were in the foster system before that?
Trauma.
Okay.
Trauma. So I got placed with my great aunt, right? So the foster care system, they try and place you with immediate family first. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad as well. You know, the state gives foster parents stipends. So some people might be in it for the wrong reason. They might look at it as a check and then neglect the child that's coming into their home. And in my case, I mean, it was a big family, you know. We had an active household. However, the leadership and the mentorship that was inside of that household wasn't what I needed.
Okay.
It was not what I needed to get through my traumas. And at a young age, experiencing traumas, you might lash out or you might act sporadically. You don't know how to fully deal with your emotions. So I was considered troubled, you know. I think they diagnosed me with ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. And this is something that a lot of foster kids could connect with is you're not my mom, you're not my dad. My mom, my dad wouldn't tell me to do this or whatever. You know, that defiance, that retaliation, you know, like I don't got to listen to you, you know. So
Sure.
I'd get in trouble at school and my my immediate family, they weren't again the best leaders or mentors for me at that time.
Okay.
So
yeah, based on your experience and what you've been able to share with us so far, you went into the foster system at 8, but at around 14, you became homeless. And America is arguably, one of the most financially stable and wealthiest nation in the world. Do you think that our country is failing kids in the foster system?
Of course, 100% yes.
Okay.
I feel like more can be done. I think there was a good grant for foster youth, which I took a hold of, called Fostering Independence Grant, which allows foster youth to go to school and get paid the expenses. So like housing, books, tuition, which really helps. But in this day and age, I don't know how long that FIG grant is going to be going on, you know, to say the least. So I've reaped the benefits of it, but will those coming up after me be able to? Who knows?
A lot of cuts coming.
Yeah, a lot of cuts coming, and that's why I use my voice to advocate and to show like, hey, when we step in to help, you know, when the United States, the wealthiest country around,
absolutely,
steps in to help the foster youth, we can grow and we can be leaders in today's society.
No 14-year-old should be homeless in America. It should never happen.
No.
Yeah, there's too much money in this country for that. Yeah. It's an embarrassment. Oh.
Well, based on that, I mean, all the experience that you had, and you know, the process that you went through from 8 years old all the way up until you were an adult, right? Is there something in that system that you would have changed? What do you think is something in that system that needs to be fixed or is fixable?
Yeah, I'd say leadership, you know, the mentorship given to the foster youth and the placement of foster youth. Like I said, my first placement, sometimes it's good to be back with family, but then that could also have a traumatic effect on a foster youth.
Yeah.
I spent time in a wealthy white couple's home, where they took me to Red Lobster for the first time. And I thought it was a delicacy, like I had never been. And then I went to Plato's Closet and I was into Jordans. There were 2 pairs of Jordans sitting on the shelf for $50 a pop. And
Nice.
at the time, I'm like, they told me I could get both. And I'm like, huh? No. Like I only grabbed one because that was new to me. Now I know $100, like, hey, I would have got it. I missed out. But
Some good finds at Plato's, man.
yeah, no kidding. So placement of foster youth and then the mentorship that's given to the foster youth. I think social workers, they go into their line of work with a pure heart. Like, I want to help. However, it is very draining work. And on top of that, the connectivity that social workers have with those in foster youth, if they haven't been through the foster care system and experienced that lived in experience, and they're getting all their knowledge from textbook,
yeah,
it creates a divide between the foster youth and the social worker, because it's like, you don't really know what I'm going through.
Absolutely.
You don't feel this pain. You don't understand.
You can't relate.
So sometimes, a lot of the time, actually, the social workers, they get drained because they're getting heavy caseloads. They're working with young kids who have experienced a lot of trauma. They aren't really ready to bear all of that all the time.
It's a lot. It can be very emotionally draining. To your point, I think, these social workers are, in many cases, just young adults themselves coming out of college and starting in their career, and to be faced with a lot of that trauma can take a toll.
We can't condense every child's situation into a textbook narrative. We cannot do that. So yeah, it's a field that is very difficult to be experienced in. So that's why people like you that have been through the system and have a lot of experience in it, being in it and working to better up the kids' lives that are in the system right now are very needed.
I agree.
Yeah.
I would say, to touch on, Ben, you had mentioned a bit earlier, what will I change? And the connotation that surrounds those growing up in the foster care system.
Right.
I think there is a negative connotation with those growing up in the foster care system. And I want to change that narrative to something more positive, because I feel like growing up in the foster care system made me more independent, made me more resilient. It taught me how to network and create relationships. I went to 8 different high schools. The amount of people I spoke to and met, I learned how to talk. I learned how to be myself eventually,
Absolutely.
And I think there's a Japanese art form that's called kintsugi.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Okay. Yeah. Kintsugi, it's a Japanese art form that repairs broken objects, often ceramic, pottery, or glass, with gold. So rather than hiding the broken pieces, what it does is it amplifies it. It beautifies it. It fixes it with gold. I think for those coming up in the foster care system, there's that narrative, the negative connotation. However, I see the beauty in it. I see unique individuals, resilient individuals, and I think the world just needs to see a little bit more of that. Just like kintsugi,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Show the beauty of what you've gone through, rather than trying to hide those or suppress kind of those experiences. That's beautiful.
It doesn't necessarily have to be all bad. You can turn it around to a positive experience. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned all the networking that you did, and all the people that you must have met. Are there any people that you met, whether they were foster siblings or any people from that period that are still good friends today or still important connections in your life today?
Absolutely.
Yes. A organization that I work closely with and am working with is called Connections to Independence. I entered their program when I was 16. You're able to age out at 25, so I aged out last year. And what Connections to Independence does is they help young fosters from age of 14, I believe, to 25 gain independent living skills. So I was given a independent living coach, essentially, and they would check on me, help make sure I'm applying for school or got a bank account or working on saving money for my car, those type of things. And they give stipends, essentially, that go into a YSP, a savings account. So then when you age out, you get a lump sum of money. So when I aged out, after meeting certain guidelines, I got like $5,000, which was good.
Okay.
But outside of the program, I had friends during the first time at 14. One of my good friends, he was at the end of my street in the winter, deep snow, waiting for me, and over time we took separate paths.
Sure.
Now he's passed away, unfortunately. Another good friend of mine who I stayed with for short times. Again, we took different paths as well.
Mm-hmm.
He got strung out on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got other friends as well too, but a lot of the relationships have gone.
Sure. It's tough to maintain after a while.
Yeah.
Certainly.
But do you keep up with them? I mean, not like communicate with them, but do you like know what they're up to today?
Yeah, I keep track a little bit. I mean, through social media and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I feel like everybody grows and takes their own path, essentially.
Are they doing well?
So some people are doing well.
Okay.
Some people are doing well for sure.
All right.
Yeah. Well, certainly, and sorry for the friends that you've lost along the way.
Yeah.
As well, that can be very tough. Do you think? I mean, also based on what you've experienced over the years, do you think there were folks in any way taking advantage of the system? Is there? Because I know that this can be a topic piece, especially when we start to get into the area of cuts, right? There's a dialogue that, this is a system that people can take advantage of. Did you see any instances of that, whether it was on the foster parent side or on families utilizing the system, anything like that?
Firsthand myself, I think I did. I mean, again, I mentioned some parents use the stipends that they earn for each foster youth to, pay for their wants, their needs. That's their form of income, essentially.
I see.
I think some foster youth also don't take advantage of all of the benefits that the foster care system does have. So now I have a mind of being grateful for all things, good or bad. And I utilized every resource. So you could say I took advantage of the system.
In a good way.
In a good way, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. Anytime there was finances or good gigs going on, I made sure I was there.
All right. My next question for you is what is the singular hardest thing you experienced being in the foster system? Like, for example, was it the mental trauma, or was it connecting with parents or other siblings you met in the foster system?
You made some great points there. Just to start off, the mental number one key. Number one key. There's this saying about The elephant that's tied to the chair at a very young age.
Yes.
Fatina, you may have heard of this.
Yeah. Even if it grows bigger, when you tie it to the same chair, it cannot move.
Correct.
Yeah.
So essentially what it is, Ben, is this elephant is a circus elephant. It's tied to the chair at a very young age. It's trained to go in circles and circles and circles. One day a guy comes up and asks the trainer, why doesn't that elephant move? And the trainer says, because it's trained. Mm-hmm. It's trained to stay tied to that chair.
Right.
These foster youth that are growing up in this system are trained at a very young age to be tied to this mental depression that breaks them down. Now, over time, that elephant grows bigger and becomes stronger, but it's still mentally chained to the chair.
Trapped in a mindset.
Exactly. Just like a lot of foster youth. Until you break that chain, you're still going to be tied to the chair. But the chair's not holding you there. The chain's not. Mm-hmm. It's your mental that's holding you there. That was the biggest battle I had to face. Oh. That and accountability. Being real when I messed up. Accepting people for who they are. We come in this world. Some people come in this world and they're gifted with two parents. Those who have two parents don't understand the privilege of what it is to have two parents. The accountability part of it. I had to understand that although these are my biological parents, they signed no contract. My life isn't theirs to take care of. This isn't a business transaction. They didn't sign on a dotted line like, hey, I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. I'm going to love you more than myself. You know, understanding who my parents were let go of a lot of weight on my shoulder, accepting them for who they are. If a snake bites, are you going to chase that snake and say, hey, why'd you bite me?
No.
You're going to accept the snake for who it is and say, oh, that's a snake. I'm going to be a little bit more careful. You dig?
Absolutely.
So taking control.
Yeah, taking control.
Understanding your parents, as you said, is that what broke you free of that chain, the chain that keeps you by the chair, right? Is understanding that what helped shift your mindset, or what factors helped you break free of that chain?
I would say, well, it wasn't just one parent. I had three mothers, essentially. You know, a mother can be the most important thing in a child's life. They birth you and they nurture you and essentially are supposed to nurture you and take care of you.
Yeah.
I was placed in multiple homes where these mothers are like, oh, you're my child. I love you. You're like gum on the bottom of my shoe. I'll never get rid of you, or I'm stuck with you for life. And then my trauma show, and then just like a bad dog or something,
they give up.
They give up because it's too hard. It's too hard for them because my biological mother couldn't love me like a biological mother. But my foster mothers, they couldn't love me as though I was their own kid because they didn't birth me. They didn't have that connection. I had to accept that. And over time I did. I lost your question, so I apologize.
No, I mean, the question, right, to your analogy of the elephant, right, is that you get trained, right, to be in that mindset. And so you touched on that it was part of it was understanding who your parents were, that allowed you to sort of move on from that. Was there anything else that helped you break free of that chain and, be able to move on from that part of your past?
Yeah. For one, my biggest thing, probably my children, I love both. That'll make you mature,
Absolutely.
That me growing up in the foster care system, now that I have my children, I can love them how I wanted to be loved, or parent them how a parent should be parenting their child, on top of the doubters, the naysayers, you people that point the finger at you like, you ain't gonna be nothing. I love it. I love it. Put your money against me.
You feed on that energy.
Exactly. And that's what the foster care system did for me. You feel me? It put a fire inside my heart that nobody can put out. I think me going through those struggles in the foster care system, I could play a victim mindset. However, I think it was destined for me. I think it opened a lot of doors for me, and I think it opened my mind to be a voice for others that are going through the foster care system. They say that foster youth, 50% of foster youth, they graduate from high school. 2 to 6% foster youth graduate with a 2-year degree. 3 to 4% graduate with a 4-year degree. 1% graduate with a master's.
Okay.
What do you think I'm going for? I'm trying to be the 1%.
Gotta get in that 1%.
I just graduated college.
Congratulations,
brother.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. My first degree, 2 years associate degree. The last 3 semesters, I got straight A's. Straight A's. Now, this next 2 years for my bachelor's, I want to be the 3 to 4%, and I want to get straight A's all the way through. And after that, we're going for the master's.
Yes, sir.
I went to 8 different high schools, but I graduated college with college credits and an A honor roll student.
Amazing.
Despite being homeless multiple times, despite being in the foster care system, despite going to 8 different high schools, I graduated with straight A's. Well, that's an achievement for me.
No, that's incredible. And
you said bring it on.
Bring it on.
And,
bring it on.
All the naysayers.
Despite being a father as well, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned you have 2 children. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How old are your kids?
My guy is responsible.
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 and 6. Yeah, they keep me busy. 2 little girls.
I
bet.
Swimming and gymnastics.
All right, a quick question for you. So, being in the foster care all these years, has it helped you in becoming a better father?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
When I got a phone call that my child might be entering the system, and she was down in Texas, I had roughly 4 jobs at the time. I was on the next flight down there to go and pick her up, No questions asked.
Absolutely.
And then when I got her back and I was by myself, I'm like, what the hell I'm going to do? I'm calling my sister like, I don't know what I just did, But that's what a parent does.
No, that was the right move.
Without
that
thinking,
was the right move, sir.
They're going to go
absolutely
and take care of you.
You can't have the whole map out. In a situation like that, you cannot see the whole road. You just take a step at a time.
Yeah. But that's love,
Absolutely.
That's love. That's sacrificing me making $10K a month to I'm going to drop these gigs. I'm going to go pick you up. I don't even know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure it out. Got her back by myself, had her in daycare, had my 1 job, went down to 2 incomes essentially. And, I just had to work it out and figure it out. But that's what love is.
Yeah.
So
and being a real father. That's what
Mr. Justin, when are you writing a book?
Take sacrifices.
When are you writing the book? Because we will definitely read that book and have it up here. When are you writing it?
I need some mentorship, I need some mentorship. Show me how it's done. Show me which way to go. We'll get it done.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Absolutely. You need to write a book.
Some good resources on
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of foster youth need. Resources. Because a lot of them, just like yourself, you have goals and aspirations, right? But when you're facing traumas and you're worried about how you're going to get your next meal, can you really focus on your goals?
No, all you're thinking about is keeping your belly full at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even the wealthiest people, they've got mentors,
Time to be creative is a true luxury.
Yes.
Right? And
absolutely.
Many people don't have that. So it's incredible that you were successful and made the time to do that. It's an incredible story. Thank you for sharing it with us.
I know it was not easy. There's no way that would have been easy for you. You had to be in the worst conditions ever, but still figure out the time to rest your mind and still become creative and get the education you need. And you've come a long way. And for your age, you're doing incredible, man.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. For our listeners on the show, for the unfiltered listeners, what should they know about you? What should they know about how to follow you and see the resources that you have out there?
Yes, I have business cards on hand, and I can't hand those over. However, I do public speaking. I will be traveling down to Florida in next month at a national conference to speak on foster care system, talking with those in the foster care system currently, those who work with foster youth, those who parent foster youth, and giving my 2 cents. On top of that, I'm in construction, construction management, and I currently own a growing auto detailing business and would love to detail your vehicles.
Awesome.
Is there a website for this business that you might want to share with the audience today?
For my detailing business, it is in the works, coming soon.
Right.
Again, growing business. But if you're interested in learning more about the work that I do when it comes to foster care, the organization that I work closely with is called Connections to Independence, and they are located in South Minneapolis. I'm currently working on creating a leadership program within Connections to Independence. So I would love to have leaders, those who have endured the foster care system, or those who have an interest in supporting those who have endured the foster care system, reach out to me.
Okay.
And let's do some good things.
So do you have a number that they can contact, or how did they reach out to you? How would you prefer they reach out to you?
Can we put a link in the description, or
Absolutely. Just send us the link early, and then we will have it on the show for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was it? Say the name one more time for us of the organization.
Connections to Independence.
So Independence.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll share those resources out with all of our listeners.
All right. Do you have any more questions for Mr. Justin?
I do not.
All
I just
right.
want to thank you again,
Thank
Justin.
you so much, sir.
Thank you for coming in, and I think
And
it's
sharing.
very powerful conversation and very powerful
Absolutely.
episode, and important for all of our listeners to hear. So, as always, to our listeners, please reach out if you have questions for us, questions for Justin, and we'll look forward to answering those questions on a future episode.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.